So let's get into it.
I've made every single one of my clients cry.
Telecoms, sales.
HR is about creating environments where people feel safe.
Are you asking me why social media just moves so quickly?
What the hell's going on with the bank?
Can we move on?
It's not something that I want to put out there.
I would put it out there. So, welcome to the show. Cove back up from Enable.
Yes.
You said you've been with the company 7 years or so.
Correct, yes.
How are you finding the industry? Where were you before Cove?
Before Cove, so I started working at Enable in 2018. Before that, I sold coffee machines.
Oh, no.
So just
cool.
business to business selling coffee. You know, everyone
I
wants
used to be
coffee.
a musician before I was in IT.
Yeah, everybody needs coffee. And then a colleague of mine, he knew the VP of SolarWinds at that time. So I was hired by SolarWinds before Enable spun off.
Yep.
And he recommended me to go on an interview. I did the interview and I got hired the same day.
Nice.
It was really good.
That's good.
Started as an account manager, became responsible for some partners in the Netherlands, in South Africa, in the UK. Then early 2019, I became SDR manager.
Okay.
So managing a bunch of people, doing the cold calls.
Yep.
Started with a team of 8. Eventually, I became responsible for about 20 people. So there was an office in the Netherlands, an office in the UK, office in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, nice.
So a bit more than 2 years ago, my wife said, if you're responsible for a team in Australia, can't we just move to Australia just for the experience?
Yep.
So I spent 2 years in Australia.
Awesome.
Just got back like 2 months ago, complaining about the cold here.
Of course you are.
But in Australia, I worked as an account executive.
Okay.
So I was mostly responsible for selling our products. Because it's a smaller market, I wasn't specialized in one certain product. I was selling our RMM product. So we do have 2 RMM solutions, N-Side and N-Central.
Yep.
Because of some acquisitions that we have done, we now have 2 RMM solutions next to each other. I sold our password and documentation management tool, Passportal, a spam filter solution. So I saw DNS filter here at the event. We sell DNS filter.
Okay.
We sell Sentinel-1 and Cove.
Yep.
And then when I got back to our office here in the Netherlands, I started working again August 1st. And then our current VP asked me if I wanted to sell Cove. So I'm now officially the title Principal Account Executive for Cove.
Wow, cool. Wow, so Cove backup solution. You would have been in the backup industry. You will no doubt have seen quite a lot of backup errors that people do and that businesses do. So share with us some of the no-nos of backup and why backup is so important to every business, not just small businesses or medium business, but to everybody.
I would just say, as an IT service provider, you're responsible for somebody's data.
Yeah.
You're responsible for something simple like they deleted their email. You want to get the email back. That's something simple. But if, let's say, you got a lawyer office and you're responsible for that completely data there, completely archive, and you mess up, what are you going to do? Like, you will get a big claim. You won't sleep good at night. You will definitely lose your customer, but I think that's your least concern. It's just your name in the industry that you completely lose. Yeah. So I think the data is so important to just to know what you do and just to be careful about the data from your customers.
100%. And being able to rest easy that your data is secure as an MSP, it's one of those things that we preach to our clients so much. Data backup, it's important. Why is it important? I've got my server in the corner and it's being backed up to a hard drive that is USB to that server that's sat on top of the server. It's like, okay.
And I got a tape that I bring home.
Yeah, exactly. And I every now and again, when do you take that home? Yeah, like it's meant to be every week, but maybe I take it home every month or every 2 months. Okay. So how much data can you be without to keep your company going? So actually, if your server goes and your hard drive goes, and you haven't taken it home in a month, that means you're a month's worth of data behind. Yep. So what's the point in data loss that you can actually go, okay, I can be without a day's worth of data. I can be without a week's worth of data and it won't cause me too much problem. Can you be without a month's worth of data?
Yeah.
So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's part of the cybersecurity layers is that you have to have backup.
It's just a must.
Any horror stories that you've seen on backup where Cover's
it wasn't a horror story, but it was something that definitely could have gone wrong. It was a guy that I spoke with in Australia, and he was using Veeam for his backup.
Yep.
And he was replicating basically the data in his office to an external location. That's basically how you work with Veeam.
Yep.
All good. And I asked him like, what's the external location? He said, so it's in my house.
Okay.
So he wasn't
Drive.
he wasn't the owner of the company.
Okay.
He was just one of the engineers. And he had in his house, he built a separate room with a couple of servers. And that was the external place where they kept all the data for their customers.
Wow.
I said, okay, so do you have kids? He said, yeah. I said, do you lock the room? Like, how does that work? What does your wife think about it?
Yeah.
Like, that was just an example that I just
Couldn't
imagine.
Is it cooled? Is it secure? Are you insured? Is it? There's lots of cybersecurity concerns there.
so many risks there that I just thought, okay, what if, because he wasn't the owner, or what if you have a guy working in your company, he's completely responsible for one solution, doesn't matter what it is, can be any solution. He's the only guy who knows that solution. What if he leaves? What if tomorrow he ends on a truck?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, it's done. It's we have it in our office where we always have to have a key man solution, so no one person can ever know everything.
Yeah.
Because if in touch wood, but if in the unlikely circumstance you walk outside and you get hit by a bus, that part of the company is gone.
Yeah.
Especially if it's backup of the company. So my entire team know our backup system. And how our clients back up and how to regularly check them and how to do the different stages of it. But I couldn't imagine just having one engineer knowing it all, because, wow, what happens when they're on holiday and you have a disaster and they need to recover some of the backups and nobody knows?
That's what I asked him. I said, how do you do that? He said, yeah, I always have my phone on me. I was like, okay, but what if I don't know, you go on a tour with your family into a cave.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
No reception.
Like, you're responsible for something pretty important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just one of the examples that I thought, man, that's...
Wow.
In now 2023 it was. I said, how can you do that?
Did he put Cove into place?
No. I still don't know why after all the testing he just never picked up anymore. Wow. Maybe he came under the bus. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he wasn't picking up for anybody.
But that's also because those guys, they feel so important in their company. I think that's the reason why they don't want to give up that product. Yeah,
we see that a lot across a lot of our client base and the industries that we work with, that you'll find employees that make, or they either guard everything to themselves so that you can't get rid of me because I know everything, and if you get rid of me, you won't. Or they make their part of the job so overly complicated that other people can't fully understand every single step for that exact same reason. You can't get rid of me, because if you get rid of me, you lose that chunk of your business. And majority of, I think every small company that I've ever spoken to at some stage in their life cycle has got to a point where they've had one person which is point of failure. Usually it's the director, because it was with me when I was small. As we started to hire staff, but I'd say in the first 5 years of our life, it was very much, I knew everything and I delegated out. I was really bad at delegation when I first started, like terrible at delegation. Got way, way better now. But I was the one that knew everything, which then meant I had to answer the phone whenever my engineers needed it. Didn't really take holidays because couldn't had to be there to do stuff. And I think a lot of small businesses make that mistake. A lot of small businesses make the mistake of thinking that we've had this conversation today. I've had this conversation a lot today, actually, about small businesses not understanding how important their data is. Yeah. And that actually their data is the commodity. That is the thing. Yes, you might have a product that you sell. You sell a product. If you work in manufacturing, you work in, I don't know, you manufacture baby products. Our product is what makes us our money. It's not. It's your data that actually is the commodity. Yeah. Be that for malicious actors, be that for it being lost and you not getting access to it. Goes back to that. How much data can you lose before your company is crippled? You guys are, one of the things I liked about the conversations we were having last night about backup is the whole automation of being able to check backups, which a lot of other vendors don't have. Why did you guys decide to kind of put that in place? Is it because the other vendors didn't have it? Because traditional backup is a human being will check the backup. They'll take a file from the backup section. They'll pass it back across to the client, go, Does this file read okay? Yes, it works. Okay, then the backup for that portion is done.
Yeah.
A lot of manual labor. You seem to have seen that and gone, we need to automate it.
It's
Wow.
exactly like after you left us yesterday at
Yeah.
the stand, another guy came to us and I spoke with the owner, and then he was the head of technician. And the owner said, yeah, we're using this and this tool. I won't mention the name. He
Yep.
said, yeah, we're using this and this tool. But our engineer, he really doesn't like it. I said, okay, why? And so I spoke with the engineer. He said, yeah, number one, it's really, really slow.
Yep.
I said, oh, where do you notice that? He said, yeah, so for example, last week, I had to do the recovery testing for one of my customers, and I had to prove them that I was able to bring that file back.
Yep.
So I had to log in, but then when I logged in, it took me 10 minutes to actually go into their device, and it took me altogether like 2 hours to fully do the recovery testing.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, that's a pretty big issue. It's 2 hours of your time. How are you going to make that money back? Because most likely it's not in your contract, and you're also not going to your customer with, hey, we picked this solution and it took us 2 hours.
Yes. So,
You have to
when
pay
it's
for my
their
time.
fault. Yep.
So I speak with a lot of MSPs, and they say, yeah, look, on paper, I know I have to do it, but to be between us, I'm not really doing it. And that's a big concern.
How did they sleep easy at night?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to if we weren't checking our backups, which with us is a manual process. At the
Yeah,
moment. With all MSPs, unless they're on Cove, it's a manual process. But how do you? I don't understand how, as a business owner, you can sleep. You're selling a product to make sure that the client can sleep easy, that their data is secure, but actually you're not checking it.
It's just that extra level of security that you want to offer to your customers. So also your customers can sleep better at night because they know, okay, I trust you guys to look after my data and I know it's secure. So we have two options there. Number one is the recovery testing.
Yep.
In that case, you really don't have to do anything. You just click the button and we test the recovery for you. Twice a month, we do it in our data center, and we send you the print screen of live.
Yep.
So you can actually see that we're able to log in. You have access to the system logs. You can see actually how quick the restore can be done.
Yep.
And option two is a standby image. So you have your own hardware where you have a full copy of whatever you have running on site.
Yep.
You have a copy there in your standby image.
Yep.
And then every time when you do the backup, so that can be with us every 15 minutes, then every 15 minutes we also show you that we can do the restore.
Yeah, I was on your site last night looking after we'd spoken to you.
That's good.
Looking
You were
at
intrigued.
Yeah, I was intrigued. Yeah. So looking at the ability to do both, go to cloud and go to local if you want to, and it's like actually that's quite handy because some profess to do it out there, but don't actually do it correctly, and it doesn't work. I won't name vendors, obviously, but it is one of those things that sometimes it's quicker to restore from a local than it is cloud, especially if I've got clients that live in the, so we're based in the UK, so our clients, some of them live in very rural, or their businesses are in very rural areas.
We
Where
have clients in South Africa.
Broadband is terrible.
In South Africa, it's terrible. In Australia, Midland, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So in that case, that's exactly why Cove is so popular. Our change rates are so extremely low that also the initial, the seeding every time when you have to bring it to the cloud, the change rate of 0.1%, it's done in minutes instead of hours.
Yeah. And I think that for me, that's one of the things that kind of clicked when we were talking last night, because I know the clients that it's painful to get them back. And some clients I have refused to put them a cloud backup solution in place because I know their broadband's bad and I know the size of their files they've got, the change rate that they do on files. There's no way I start a backup on a Monday, it's going to be finished by like maybe the weekend. So we've refused, and we've done multi-layered backups for them in-house that has change disks or drives, and it's like that's kind of the best you're going to get, because until we can get you good broadband, the weight of the backup we can't push, otherwise you're not going to be able to do any other work.
And of course, the initial seed that has to be done. Like you have to bring to the cloud once.
100%.
But once that is done, like those incremental changes, they're so extremely small.
Can you do the initial seed, as in, can I seed it locally onto an external and take it away to someone that's got good broadband and push out?
Correct, yes. You can go to your customer, put it on a USB, and then from your own office, just send it to the cloud.
That's good. I like that piece. I went off topic. It's become really apparent that in the world that we're all living in at the moment, all small businesses like my own get constricted by the price increases that we've got across utilities, across rent, across a manner of things. What we're aiming to do on the CEO's perspective is to bring in professionals from all walks of life that have got years of experience in their field so that we can give out some information freely to other small business owners that might be able to assist them in the littlest things inside their business, or maybe the biggest things inside their business, but by giving away that advice freely. It's our way of giving back to the small business community. We hope that you're going to enjoy our series of podcasts. If you would like to get involved, if you'd like to come and be a guest on our podcast, please reach out. Email is in the description. We invite you to subscribe to our channel so that you can see more of these podcasts. And we invite you to subscribe to our tech newsletter so that you can hear about the new things that are happening, not only in tech, but in small business. We hope you're going to enjoy the rest of this podcast. But automation you have in your system, obviously, for checking the recoveries. Any other automations that's already built into your system that makes a technician's life easier and makes it quicker for a client?
I think it's just the ease of use. Like, for example, installing, not installing Cove, but installing another backup solution. Quite often, it's quite a big process.
It's
so many different steps that you have to do. With us, it's literally an executable that you install on a server, on a workstation. And in that executable is the code embedded for your profile, for your retention policy that you've set up. Once you install that, and you can do that with any RMM solution that you're going to use, any remote control tool, it's just installing a piece of software. Once it's on the server, once on the workstation, then it will pop up in your dashboard. So the installing process is so easy that, there's no automation needed. Like you're mature MSP, you got an RMM solution. 100 servers, it's just like, if it's the same customer, you just roll out everywhere.
Roll out to everybody. Wow. That's, I think because for us, we've worked with lots of different backup solutions in the past, some better than others, but the installation process for nearly every piece of backup software I've ever installed, be that Veeam, be that anything, is painful. And I can't just give it to a junior engineer to do. It has to be somebody who's got a bit more knowledge because it's a bit more complex and there's something to it. So if it's something that you can just give to an engineer to install and they can just push it and install it, makes life for MSPs way, way easier.
And cheaper, because you can just hire a level 1 engineer to manage Cove. And also the second thing is, I don't know any other solutions in the market that actually have one dashboard for all your servers, workstations, and your 365. There are a lot of solutions where, they look after your 365 or they look after your servers and workstations. And then with the same vendor, you maybe have 2 different dashboards. There are solutions where, and I still don't know how MSPs are doing that, they have tabs open for every customer. And then they have their customer from the same product. For every customer, they have a different dashboard. So they have to log into a different dashboard. With us, it's just multi-tenant. You log into the same dashboard. It's a drop-down. You select the customer, you select the site, and then you see all your servers, workstations, and your 365 tenants under that site.
One of my bugbears with the solution that we currently use is that we have 2 different portals. A portal for cloud-based backups, be that 365, be that whatever in cloud, and then servers, desktops, file and folder is in a different portal. And it's like, why can't you just put them together in the same portal, or at least put an overlay on them, put a GUI over them that allows them to blend into both, into one portal, because it's painful from an engineer's standpoint. It's really painful. So if you've mastered that, I think that allows, in the end, us as MSPs want to be able to provide, we're solution providers, right? We like providing solutions, and we like providing solutions that work for clients, do what they're going to do, what they say they're going to do on the tin. They work. Every program has its issues. Every program will have a little problem now and again. It happens. We've seen companies do updates recently, which have caused lots of problems, right? So every piece of software, doesn't matter what it is and what it goes on, will always have a problem at some point. But if you've got a piece of software that is easy to control, it does what it's meant to do, that's half the battle. And it makes, for us as MSPs and technicians, it makes our life a lot easier. And if we can do that all from one pane of glass, even easier. Do you guys have any integrations with like PSA tools and stuff like Autotask, Synchro, any of those types
we
of
have
tools?
integrations going on. We have an open API also that you can use.
Oh, nice.
We have integrations. Some are in the build, some are already there. So it's on the website like enable/integrations. You can find them all.
Perfect.
But no, we definitely got those integrations in place.
It's cool. Have you seen over the last, I suppose, since the pandemic, have you guys seen a trend more clients coming on board for backup, or is it, do you know what I mean? Because is there more of a trend that they're coming to cloud backup now than they were traditional? One
example that a guy mentioned, he signed with us last week, but I spoke with him like last month for the first time. His biggest issue was that since the dynamic, people are working from home more. And he said normally like they close their PC at 6 p.m. in the office and they come into the office at 8 a.m. So he had a time frame of, how many hours? Like enough hours.
10 hours?
Yeah, 10 hours. He had enough hours to...
14 hours actually.
14 hours. He had enough time to bring the backup to the cloud.
Yeah.
He said, perfect. In those 10, 14 hours, I just was able to do it. But now people are working from home. So at home, they work till 10 p.m. And then some people are eager, so they want to go...
start early in the morning.
They start early, so they start at 7 a.m. So now I only got like 8 hours or 9 hours to bring the backup to the cloud.
Yep.
And then in some cases, I just can't do it anymore because the data is growing.
Yeah.
So that's where they got stuck.
Yep.
And he said, look, I'm just looking for a solution that is able to bring that to the cloud within those 7 hours. I said, look, test it with us and I will do something better. So he added the server into Cove and now he's doing a backup every hour on the same server.
Wow.
Because those changes are so extremely small.
And that's the thing. It is, I think we saw a trend during the pandemic where we had clients who are very, very old school, server in-house, don't want anything in the cloud, don't trust the cloud, don't understand what the cloud is, don't want to listen when we explain what the cloud is. Pandemic hit in the UK, the government sent everybody home, went full lockdown, go home, don't leave your house. And those clients turned around and went, oh, what do we do? It's like, we need to go to the cloud. Yeah, you do need to go to the cloud. Let's shift you to the cloud. And we've seen over the last 4 years more and more migration to cloud resilience.
I see so many servers moving away, just going to the cloud. 365 backup is now so popular in the market.
Can you, with your system, because you can do full bare metal server backups, can you back up a VM? This is more for me than the people out there, but can you back up an in-house VM and restore it in Azure?
Yeah.
Huh. I think we're going to end up probably doing quite a lot of business.
That's the goal. Look, and regarding all the technicals, like I'm not a techie.
No, that's fine.
I have amazing engineers that I work closely with.
That's good.
They're with us since the IASO time, which is the original name of our product.
Yep.
So it started like 20 years ago in the Netherlands.
Yep.
So they're with us since that time. One of the founders is still with us. So quite often I just bring them on the call, and then your engineers with my engineers, they just do I always call Chinese with each other, the language that I don't speak. Yeah.
Yep. Talk techie is what we do.
And then I come on with the commercials. Just a conversation that I always love to have with MSPs is, what you don't want to do as an MSP is go to your customer and let them be picky how or what data they're gonna back up.
Yep.
Because sometimes they say, you know what, I'm not gonna back up these files. Ideally, I want to.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna be too expensive.
Yeah, especially on the models that are pay-per-gig models.
Per gig,
you then look at it. I had a conversation recently with a potential client that we were looking on board in a garden center. And we looked at their data and they were, I think, 500 gig, very small, 500 gig. And we went through and we gave them the cost and they were like, a month? Oh, I don't want to pay that and it's too expensive. And they're like, can I just back up this set? Because this is my important set. It's like, but for you right now, this is the important set. But you have a team of 30 people. Who says that one of them doesn't go and put an important file in a set over here? How do you know that that's going to constantly be the important files? And he was like, I don't. I was like, so you kind of need to back everything up. But when it's on a pay-per-gig model, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of MSPs, I speak for myself, but a lot of MSPs feel the same way in the fact of where we all want to supply a service that really works and that's really good. But sometimes the services that are amazing are enterprise built services that haven't made it down to the SMB market yet. And we can't sell it because we have a small little client that's like, I'm not going to pay that amount of money for, and it's that understanding, I suppose, on those businesses understanding how important data is, and how important disaster recovery is. So for you guys, how it's broadband specific, obviously, but do you find that the recovery rate for people recovering stuff to their systems to get them back up and running, have you got case studies on how fast they go? So let me rephrase that. One of the backup solutions that we work with, they will go through when we're prospecting, they will go through a test phase where they'll test the backup and then they'll build with us a case study so we can present to the client to go, if disaster happened, you can add into your disaster recovery plan that actually to get yourself back up and running again, it's 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is. Do you guys do that?
So we have a couple of options. Every customer that you try to get on board, you can start a trial within your dashboard for that particular customer. So you don't pay anything for it, but you as an MSP can add that customer into your dashboard for 30 days without paying for it.
Yep.
Then you can just
try before you buy.
Exactly.
Yep.
Then you can also turn on the recovery testing, so you can show them how quick the restore can be done. We have some MSPs, they sign up bigger end customers. If you sign up a bigger end customer, they might have an internal IT guy that want to see their own data.
Yes.
They want to see their own servers.
Yep.
You can give them access to your dashboard, but then only give them access to
their portion,
their side, or to their customer location, to their side. You can make them like a super user to give them full access, which I don't recommend.
No, never.
But you can also
we don't like giving end user super access to anything.
But you can give them make them a supporter. You can send emails to them. There's so many options to keep them up to date about what's going on.
Lovely. And your reporting side, because this is one of the big things. I take it we didn't touch on this last night, but I take it you've got a reporting system on backup. So we do a lot of Cyber Essential certifications in the UK. And one of that and FCA regulation, we have to deal with the FCA quite a lot. And we have to produce reports of what the last quarter's backups for a particular client, how long they took, what's backed up, that type of thing. High level reporting system. I take it you guys have a reporting system in?
We have a dashboard.
Okay.
So in the dashboard, you can just select the customer, you can select the site, but then in the dashboard, you can see the columns. So I don't know, company name, how many 365 users are in there, how many data is on the server. Those columns, we have 655 options that you can pick of what you can put in those columns. You can save the views, so you can make particular views for a customer because they want to see specific things. And that exact dashboard, so you save it as a view, but you can also send that as a report. So you can select, okay, I want to send that once a week, I want to send that every day. You can make a report with, I want to only see the failed backups in here, and then I don't want to get an email if there's no failed backup. So you only get a notification if something goes wrong.
Wow.
And maybe you don't want to get a notification if something goes wrong directly, because if you do a backup every 15 minutes, it doesn't really matter if once a day that backup fails.
No.
But as long as there's one successful backup every 24 hours.
Okay, good. So granular control over the reporting, which is a good thing. And I can automate that, I take it. So yeah, okay. I think you found yourself a customer. That's for sure. And I think after this, you'll find yourself a lot more customers. How many MSPs do you work with?
25,000.
25,000 all across the world, I'm taking.
Across the world,
Okay.
So 25,000 MSPs are using one of our products. Cove, I think, is now 13,000.
Nice.
So some people are just using Cove as a standalone. A lot of people are using our RMM solution and using Cove next to it.
Okay. And you're not on as we're at Beyond Berlin, you're not on the Pax8 line card yet. Why?
As far as I know, Pax8 is not selling Cove.
Okay. No, they're not. You're not on the line card.
They sell Passporto, a password and documentation management tool.
Yeah, there's a few things that they sell. Yeah.
The reason why, I don't know. I don't sell to distributors. I don't sell to resellers. I sell direct to MSPs.
Okay.
So this is above my pay grade to...
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair enough. But
I'm just happy that I'm here to speak with you guys and just get the opportunity to talk about Cove.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you guys actually are here, and that actually at this event, they're allowing vendors. So too many of these types of events that we go to, and we've been to lots of them over the years, will only ever have the vendors that they sell. So the vendors that are on their line card. and they won't allow any external vendors. And actually, it's really refreshing and really nice to see vendors that are not on their line card. They're not in the pipeline to be on the line card, but they're there and they're offering their solution. I think I mentioned to you.
You said yesterday, you came to me, you said, hey, look, somebody recommended Cove. Tell me about it. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. So it was my SOCO at one of our distributors went to me. We don't sell the system, but this system's really good. You need to look at the system. And I was like, because they've heard me complain so much about the system that we're currently using, and Chip, who you met last night, complains about it constantly, and he's the ops manager and leads the technical team, so he has to deal with it all, not me. So he complains about it constantly, and they came to us and they were like, there's two options that you need to look at. These are the two. Both of you are here. I won't mention the company name, but I won't look at them because I've looked at them in the past. And yeah, let's just say the system doesn't always do what it says on the tin. But it seems we've spoken to you guys. I actually know an MSP that uses you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And he can't stop talking about you guys. I was with them Monday, just gone. And he's like, yep, we've pushed everything into Cove. We've moved from our other solution. We pushed everything backup wise into Cove, and we don't see why we were ever with anybody else. I was like, okay, sometimes it takes, for us as MSPs, if another MSP says to us, this system's really good, because they're in the trenches with us and they know the pain points that we have, for us, it's like, okay, so that's, in sales, it's a warm lead, right? When you get,
those are the best.
Yeah. When you get word of mouth referrals, they're kind of 90% of the job is done already because it's come. But for us as MSPs, if another techie is going to put their reputation online to go, yeah, this software's really good, it makes us think about it and go, huh. Okay.
And that's what I need, because like I watch Formula One, I'm a big fan. And
me too.
I see a lot
Massive fan.
Max Verstappen, of course, because I'm Dutch.
Of course you are. Sorry, I'm Lewis Hamilton. Yeah.
End of podcast.
Yeah, done. Podcast is over.
There you see so many like IT companies sponsoring the race cars.
Yeah,
like there are backup vendors on there. There's so many vendors on the race cars. There's no Cove on it.
No, there's no Cove. Why is Cove not on an F1?
Not yet.
You need to speak to your bosses. Cove needs to be on an F1 car.
I would love to.
Yeah. No, massive F1 fan as well. I could talk for hours on F1, but you are right. Technology has moved quite a lot into F1. We see it on everything. They're branded on everything with technology. Maybe one day TCCB will be on there. Well, hopefully Cove will be on there one day.
Maybe.
No, we were on a rally car. So very long time ago, we used to sponsor a rally car.
Ah, cool.
So we were on. I'm a motorsport fanatic. I love motorsport. The winter period of F1, like after it finishes, is painful for me. The month long that we've been on at the moment, or nearly a month long that we've been on, it's quite painful for me. The summer break for me,
3 weeks,
it's really painful for me. It's
you just watch Drive to Survive again.
Yeah, Drive to Survive, or have to go and race something. So I live very close to Silverstone.
Ah, cool.
So I'm like 15 minutes away from the Silverstone track. So you can go and do race days there. You can go and do like single car racing and stuff. So if I can't watch it, I need to be in something that I can race. I'm quite a big petrol head. I own some V8 cars, which I like driving a nice V8 engine. Nice. I like the burble. But yeah, massive F1 fan. And it's true, technology has moved. It didn't used to be. It used to be a lot of cigarettes, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Marlboro was on there.
Then they banned tobacco, and then it seems that the tech industry has gone, actually, more and more technology is pushed into F1. And
you see Manchester United with TeamViewer, you see them everywhere.
You need to be supplying backup solution to F1, to an F1 team, because they have to push a lot of data, and sometimes not from the best broadbands ever, because they're all over the world. You guys need to talk to an F1 team.
Yeah, we have some names that are using us. Of course, I can't share any names,
no,
but
of course not.
I wish everybody knew Cove in the way that you do now, and like I always say, proof is in the pudding, because honestly it sounds too good to be true. Having a change rate of 0.1%, it sounds to be
when I saw it on your board last night, I was like, okay, really?
Okay. But honestly, like as a sales guy, you always know your conversions.
Yep.
And I know my conversion from people like taking the time to listen to me for 30 minutes, watch the demo, then start a trial and actually deploy it on one server, the people that tested on at least one server, their conversion of buying is extremely high.
Wow.
And that's just proof is in the pudding. People just need to test it, seem to believe it, and they need to give that opportunity. And sometimes they need like to hear it from another peer how good it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need to
100%.
just speak with me and trust me and my blue eyes.
Bet you those blue eyes get you into trouble as much as they do make you sales. Yep, of course. So finally, thank you for being on the podcast. But if you could give one piece of advice to any business owner out there, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would say speak with other vendors, speak with multiple vendors. Like, I don't want to say I'm an expert in the market, but I also have seen things and I've heard things and I know things about what other MSPs are using. Just let's say if I use one backup solution or I use one RMM solution, at least once a year, I just want to see what's going on in the market. Speak with a big vendor, speak with one of the most senior reps, and just go to events like
Compare
this.
them. Yeah.
And just compare them with each other and just think, okay, is the tool that I currently use, is that still up to date or just need to look at something else?
Is the problem, because too many tools, whether it be backup or any other tools in IT, I think it's a problem with not so much with how big they get, but too many companies get a little bit stuck in the mud in the service that they do, and they don't look at what's coming down the line. They're not trend analyzing. They're not looking at, and they kind of sit back here and go on their laurels, as we would say, and go, yeah, we've got thousands of customers. We've got a product that works, and other companies come along and go, yeah, but you can make that product better. If you did this, this, and this, you can make that product better. And they don't. They sit, and that's how you lose your customer base.
And I'm pretty sure that back in the days, you also had the Nokia 3310.
Oh yeah, of course.
So everybody had it playing like
I've still
Space
got one in a
Impact
drawer somewhere,
and Snake
I'm sure.
on it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like with this thing, I can do everything. I can order my Uber. I can get my food. There's so much more than just calling and playing like a simple game on it.
Yeah.
And that's also the technology. It just changes. So just look around and see what other tools are doing. Give them a shot. Of course, there's so many vendors. Don't test everything. But just see what's going on in the market. That's what I would recommend. Give them a chance because I speak with so many MSPs and also help them make the packages and how to sell products. It's just valuable just to see what's going on.
Yeah. Perfect. Patrick, thank you very much for coming on the show. And we hope that the rest of the week or the days that we're here at the Beyond Pax8 goes really well for you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.